Folks, there is going to be the bluest of bloods flowing all over the field at Mercedes-Benz Stadium at the National Championship game. Massive matchup, Ohio State and Notre Dame. We will break down the matchup coming up on Monday night, of course, across the Voice of College Football Network. This video is about the tradition and the Blue Bloods historically, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Are these the two greatest programs in the history of college football? Well, that question is going to be answered by myself later in the offseason. But who is the greatest between the Buckeyes and the Fighting Irish? They have played 8 times. The first 2 in 1935-36 as Notre Dame swept Ohio State, including an epic, historic 13-0 comeback for an 18-13 win for Notre Dame. Then Ohio State had to wait 60 years to exact its revenge. Eddie George ran wild in the fourth quarter as Ohio State blasted Notre Dame in a really good football game that broke open for the Buckeyes in Columbus, 45-26. The next year in South Bend, it was Ohio State winning that matchup 29-16. The next 2 matchups were in the Fiesta Bowl, with Ohio State grabbing a 34-20 win in the 2006 game following the 2005 season with Troy Smith, Ted Ginn, and Santonio Holmes besting Brady Quinn and company. And then the 2 teams would play following the 2015 season as both barely missed out on a college football playoff appearance. And of course, the Buckeyes were looking for back-to-back national championships, denied by Michigan State. The consolation prize, Notre Dame and the Fiesta Bowl, as the Buckeyes won it 44-28. In 2022, Marcus Freeman, former Buckeye linebacker, came back to Columbus as first-year head coach of Notre Dame. His Irish led early, but lost to the Buckeyes 21-10. And then the rematch in South Bend was a classic. Notre Dame led most of the way. Ohio State, led by Kyle McCord, marched down the field in the final 90 seconds to win it with 1 second to play. The Buckeyes a winner 17-14. Kyle McCord 240 yards passing. Travion Henderson 104 rushing, including a big 68-yard burst for a touchdown. Buckeyes won a squeaker. So Ohio State has won 6 consecutive games in the series and lead the series 6-2. But of course, these 2 fine programs have battled other teams with other results, totaling about 1,200 games per side. So we won't judge it based on the 8. Let's look historically to the all-time numbers, first and foremost, courtesy Winsipedia. All-time best winning percentage is quite a battle between Ohio State, Alabama, Michigan, and Notre Dame. Right now, the Buckeyes lead with a 735 mark to Notre Dame's 732 in 4th place. According to Winsipedia, Notre Dame bests Ohio State in national championships 11-8. Notre Dame's figure is the 3rd best in the country, behind Alabama and Michigan. Of course, here at the Voice of College Football, we've got a much more stringent and accurate standard for measuring national championships, and we will do so in the offseason. Conference championships mean nothing to Notre Dame. They don't play in a conference. They are dead last in America. Ohio State with 39. Make that 40 because of the ridiculous tattoo scandal. They did share a conference title in the Big Ten in 2010. Let's go to bowl games. Ohio State has played in 58, Notre Dame in 43. Usually when a Big Ten power like Ohio State or Michigan is matched up against a all-time blue blood like a Texas, Oklahoma, somebody like that, they have less bowl games played because the Big Ten did not allow its second-place team to play in a bowl game until 1975. It also didn't have repeat teams go to the Rose Bowl, but Notre Dame also didn't play in bowl games for a long, long time, all the way up until 1970. So Ohio State's 4th all-time in bowl games, and their bowl record now an even 29-29. Notre Dame at 23-20 all-time in bowl games. Wins, Ohio State number 2 to Michigan, 977. Notre Dame at number 4, 15 wins behind the Buckeyes. Consensus All-Americans, Notre Dame leads this one. They are number 1. Ohio State is number 2. This is a true blue blood series here. Heisman Trophy winners, USC has the most. Reggie Bush, I'm sure you are very happy to receive your 8th and USC's 8th back in your hands. That means Ohio State and Notre Dame are tied for 2nd with 7. NFL draft selections. Notre Dame, despite a bit of a drought post-2000 up until a few years ago, leads with 532. That is 43 better than Ohio State at number 3. However, Ohio State leads in the premium picks in the first round, 91-71. Ohio State is number one all time in first round picks. Notre Dame is number 4. Ohio State is also number 1 in appearing in the AP poll at just under 1,000 weeks. Notre Dame is number 4 at 889. And then in terms of ranking number 1 in the country, Alabama's number 1, Ohio State number 2, and Notre Dame back only 7 weeks to Ohio State's figure with 98 for the Irish. So that figure of AP weeks ranked and then also ranked at number 1, let's break that down even further and more substantially here. Notre Dame has been ranked in the final poll 60 times all time, Ohio State 64. Ohio State also has a slim lead in top 10 finishes, 44-40, and also AP top 5 finishes over Notre Dame, 31-26. Ohio State has won 69 more games since 1970. They've lost 58 less. You see the difference in winning percentage. Ohio State is the best winning percentage in college football since 1970. That's over the course of 55 years, 773-702 for Notre Dame. The Irish in major bowl games, of course, this major drought that they've gone on since 1993 all the way up until this year. But going back before that, Notre Dame, a fixture in major bowl games and quite successful, 13-14 since 1970. Ohio State with 8 more major bowl wins, 21-18. Rankings, Notre Dame has finished ranked out of the last 55 years, 34 times. Ohio State, 45 of 55 years. And there you see the Buckeyes substantially more top 10 finishes, 32-17, and top 5 finishes, 23-12. Now let's move the measurement up to the 21st century. Ohio State has won 48 more games, lost 53 less. The winning percentage is 846 compared to Notre Dame at 681. Major bowl games, Ohio State 15-9. Notre Dame just with the 3 this year. Those are the major bowl wins since 2000. The Irish at 3-8. Ranked seasons, Buckeyes 22 of 25 years. Notre Dame 15 of 25. Buckeyes have finished ranked in the top 10 20 times this century. 16 top 5 finishes. Notre Dame with just 6 top 10 finishes, 5 in the top 5. And then we move ahead to the college football playoff era, 2014 through 24. That's 11 seasons. Notre Dame was substantially a better football program under Brian Kelly and now Marcus Freeman than what they had Bob Davie, Ty Willingham, and Charlie Weiss. 762 winning percentage, 109-34, but Ohio State better again since 2014. I believe that's the best mark in the country. That might be bested by Bama. It's extremely close. 128-17 for the Buckeyes, almost 90% winning percentage. Major bowl games since 2014. The Buckeyes have won 10 of 15, and Notre Dame is 3-4. Ranked finishes in the last 11 years. Ohio State every year, and every year in the top 10, 8 times in the top 5. Notre Dame, 9 times ranked, 4 in the top 10, 3 in the top 5. So let's add up all these categories, all time, and then the 3 eras we have just looked at. Ohio State leads in 24 of the 28 categories, and all 18 categories since 1970. Notre Dame has 4 category wins all time. Those would be national championships and bowl winning percentage, consensus All-Americans as well. Seems pretty clear cut to me, but I'll let you be the judge. We just presented all the numbers. Again, 28 different categories spanning all time, 1970, 21st century, and the college football playoff era. Now it's on to the game, the national championship game in 2024. None of this will matter, at least toward that game, of course, when the two meet on the gridiron in Atlanta. Full coverage right here at the Voice of College Football. Keep it locked into the main channel. Also the Ohio State and Notre Dame channels. We are going to lock in on Notre Dame and Ohio State. The end of the college football season is here, and we need to decide a champion right here at the Voice of College Football.